People nowadays are talking about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence can make judgments to a certain degree. Have you ever wondered how we come to all this? It actually comes from human intelligence. Good day. My name is Tzu-Chieh. Today, I will give you an introduction about human intelligence, and you are welcome to leave a comment in the chat box. In the presentation, I will start with the development of intelligence, then the concept of human intelligence and intelligence testing. After that, determinants and cultural influence on intelligence will be touched on, and I will finish the report with the current debate on intelligence. Moving on to the first page, I have listed the evolution of the theories in modern history. Back in 1920s, Charles Spearman introduced the two-factor theory. Then Thurston proposed the primary mental abilities in 1938. And in 1956, Guilford introduced his theory on convergent and divergent thinking. Around 20 years later, Howard Gardner presented the theory of multiple intelligence, and followed by Sternberg's triarchic theory. Until recently, emotional intelligence was popularized by American psychologist Daniel Goleman. And now let us take a closer look at each theory. The two-factor theories of Charles Spearman are separated into G, which is short for general factor, and S, which is short for specific factor. He hypothesized that all specific factors such as verbal or spatial abilities are all supported by the G. However, there are still debates about whether a single general factor can explain all the complicated human intelligence. And here comes the PMA, short for primary mental abilities, challenging Spearman's theory. Thurston then corrected the concept of intelligence, and he thought there were actually 7 abilities as shown on the mind map. But there are also critics on PMA. Some psychologists discovered that there are some similarities of the two theories, which brings us to the next page. When we compare the two theories above, we can see they both have limited intelligence to book smarts, unfortunately overlooking the more practical abilities. And seeing the problem of lacking practical abilities in Spearman's and Thurston's theory, Cattell developed the fluid and crystallized intelligence, which valued the practical problem-solving skills. And in 1980s, Howard Gardner published the theory of multiple intelligence. He thought intelligence is made up of 8 intelligences rather than one single underlying general factor. Gardner proposed each one represents unique talents and skills. Moreover, we can see the clear link between PMA and multiple intelligences. For example, Gardner's linguistic intelligence can be associated with Thurston word fluency. Again, Gardner's theory, however, is highly valued in academic settings, and the lack of empirical data as a supporter to the multiple intelligence becomes the problem. Turning to the next theory, Sternberg introduced the triarchic theory in 1988. He hypothesized analytical, creative, and practical intelligence that would lead to success in real world, expanding the scope of intelligence into a wider range. However, the shadow of Spearman's G factor still hides in it. More recently, psychologists took a closer look at the relationship between creativity and intelligence, and we may associate it with artwork or new ideas of solving a problem. Nevertheless, creativity can be linked to Guilford's divergent thinking. That is the ability to think outside the box. To put it in my own expression, I would say it is the ability to generate many different solutions to a single problem. On the other hand, convergent thinking is providing an answer directly toward a given problem. Coming up with EQ, short for emotional intelligence, it was popularized by Daniel Goleman. He thought emotional intelligence is made up of 5 elements, which are empathy, social skills, self-awareness, self-regulation, and motivation. How emotional intelligence works is that the amygdala in our brain dominates the emotional process. The level of emotional intelligence will also affect our ability to judge. A person with good emotional intelligence tends to have a better performance in leading a team. And we can also see the theory has integrated Gardner's interpersonal and intrapersonal. Based on the theorems above, human intelligence could be tested and judged by 2 major aspects. At the beginning, psychologists thought human intelligence consisted only conventional intelligence. However, it doesn't make up people's full range of intelligence. Until recently, emotional intelligence can. It describes another aspect that conventional intelligence cannot. With the two, it gives us a fuller coverage of human intelligence. And in order to test out the complicated human intelligence, psychologists have developed various methods of testing. Do you still remember that we had taken an intelligence test during the first year of school? A good test should be reliable, valid, and standardized. And I have listed the 3 common intelligence tests as shown on the slide. There are also some intelligence tests that we students are more familiar with, such as SAT or GMAT. And after hearing the intelligence test, we may figure out that everyone's test score will be different from others. And here comes the question. What makes the differences? Research has shown that both genes and environments have major impacts to determine the level of intelligence a person might possess. And we can see the main determinants of intelligence as shown on the slide. Moving on to the next page, I would like to touch more on the cultural influence on intelligence. There are 2 areas of study, which are cultural variations and cultural intelligence. Also, intelligence has been discussed and evolved through the efforts of so many psychologists around the world. But even today, there are still many debates on this subject. The upward line on the slide are some of the important topics people are focusing on. Now, after hearing all this, you agree with me that there are still infinite possibilities of human intelligence. Again, my name is Tzu-Chieh from Wanfang. I'm extremely excited to stand with you to observe the further development of intelligence, which surely will be full of future prospects. Thank you.